Well, let's get this thing started, man. Well, we got some bad news. Some bad news, and I'm not really surprised. I can't say that I'm surprised, man. You gotta expect things like this, man. You know what country you living in? Do you know that you dealing with the state of Texas? Texas got some crazy laws. I would never want to live in Texas. I got to be real with y'all. Texas is Texas is crazy, man. Even their marijuana laws is just bogus out there, right? They're making it to where you get caught with a little bit of weed, you're gonna do some prison time. So Texas is just one of them places that huh, I'll just stay the hell away from Texas. Their laws are just way extreme. But I'm not surprised that I'm not surprised that they denied Carmelo Anthony a new trial. Because one thing that I do know, yeah, the black conservatives are celebrating. All of these black conservatives are celebrating that. Tania, what it do, baby? Shout out to the brothers. I knew they would celebrate this, man. You know, peace to everybody. What's up? What's happening? Shout out to the real. The truth is a bitter pill. This could take several years before this boy gets a new trial, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, he could, Tania, but shout out to SR Serum, Royalty, Cat 6 Cable Guy. Shout out to Scoop. Shout out to Aldua. Shout out to all my people that's been rocking with me. I appreciate you all. Live direct, full effect, microphone check. Let's get it. Oh man, so listen, man, I'm not gonna waste no time. I'm gonna dive into the conversation and we're gonna have at it, y'all. We just gonna have at it. We ain't gonna waste no time. No need for the small talk. Let's see what's going on with Carmelo Anthony's appeal getting denied.
Back in the live now from Fox. I'm your host, Anna Marsick. We do have some breaking news to bring you as Carmelo Anthony has lost his bid for a new trial. This post coming from Fox News just moments ago, breaking: a judge denies motion for a new trial for Carmelo Anthony. And we also have this coming from Fox News, breaking it all down as a Texas judge denied Carmelo Anthony a new trial on Saturday after his attorneys argued that courtroom restrictions, hearings held without Anthony present, and the handling of unwritten agreement between his former lawyers and prosecutors violated his rights. You can see this post on your screen coming from Fox News. Just in, Carmelo Anthony loses his bid for a new trial, keeping his murder conviction and 35-year prison sentence in place. A Texas judge rejects the 19-year-old's challenge after 2 days of testimony over courtroom restrictions, hearings held without Anthony present, and a disputed unwritten agreement between his former lawyers and prosecutors. Anthony was convicted in June of stabbing and killing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during an altercation at a Frisco track meet. His legal fight now moves forward on direct appeal. So to go more in depth on this, retired district judge Michael Chitty denied Anthony's request after reviewing that motion, court record, evidence and arguments, briefs, and relevant case law that was according to his order. Now, the order did not detail his reasoning for that decision, but that decision leaves Anthony's murder conviction and 35-year prison sentence in place. His challenge will continue on direct appeal. Chitty heard 2 days of testimony in McKinney, Texas, after the judge was removed the former judge was removed who presided over Anthony's murder trial. Judge John Roach from the remaining remaining trial court proceedings earlier this week. That judge had found that a reasonable outside observer could question whether Roach appeared impartial after he had publicly said that the jury got it right and defended several of his trial decisions. Now, at the center of the new trial hearing was an oral agreement between Anthony's original defense attorneys and prosecutors to keep potentially damaging character evidence involving both sides from reaching the jury. Former lead defense attorney Mike Howard had testified that he understood the agreement to allow Anthony to testify if he stayed focused on the confrontation under the 10.
He could appeal again, but like I said, sometimes when you're sitting in prison, it could take years for the appeal to, to actually go through. So yeah, man, true story. That's the unfortunate reality of the situation, right? That's the unfortunate reality, right? My bad.
At the Frisco track meet, to keep potentially damaging character evidence involving both sides from reaching the jury. Former lead defense attorney Mike Howard had testified that he understood the agreement to allow Anthony to testify if he stayed focused on the confrontation under the tent at the Frisco track meet. On the final day of the trial, which was yesterday, prosecutors told the defense that the agreement would not apply if Anthony took to the stand and that the defense had opened the door to character evidence. Howard had said that dispute led to a heated break in the proceedings and made Anthony unwilling to testify. So once again, that latest breaking news coming in today is that Carmelo Anthony has lost his bid for a new trial. That was the big news in this case that we were still waiting to hear, and it looks like we do have our answer now. We're going to slide away.
Oh, man, there you go. So there you go. This is cray to the mother FNZ.
Examining some of the witnesses, they decided they were not going to get into.
We just learned within maybe the last 10 minutes or so that the new judge assigned in the appeal of Carmelo Anthony has denied the request for a new trial. If you are not familiar with this case, it has really been consuming a lot of news since April of 2025, when Carmelo Anthony was accused of stabbing Austin Metcalf at a high school track meet there in Frisco. Fast forward to June of 2026, Carmelo Anthony was found guilty of murder, and he was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Here we are at the end of August of 2026, and he was appealing. He was first asking for the judge who set in on his original trial to be removed from the case. He was successful in that. And now this judge who's been assigned to listen to the appeal in this case has denied the motion for a new case. So just wanted to set the scene a little bit for folks who may not have heard everything we were saying off the beginning of this coverage. Keith, since you are still with us, I want to quickly ask you, I am looking at an image of the order that is denying the new trial, and it is 3 sentences long. Rebecca read it earlier. It gives no indication about why the judge did this or any sort of, it just simply says denied. Is that unusual, or is that what we should have been expecting?
We should.
You got super trolls when they got to create 5 different accounts just to keep trolling. You got some sick people out here, man. Why do you feel the need to comment on my channel like that? Like, you gonna make all these accounts?
Should have expected that. A lot of times it is just a signature granting or denying the motion for new trial with whenever you have these hearings. So the judge doesn't have to make findings of fact or conclusions of law or tell why he or she makes the decision that they did, or in this situation that he did. So that is sufficient. It just has to be in writing. Again, like I said earlier, I think a lot of this hearing was to lay out and develop the record that the appellate court is ultimately going to decide. Because in this situation, for a judge to grant the motion for new trial, he would have had to have found that the verdict was contrary to the law and the evidence. And again, that wasn't necessarily all of the hearing was about. It was also developing the record so that now the appellate court's going to get the more in the record from the potential constitutional violations, the right to a public and open trial, and then also the testimony and the evidence from why the defendant was deprived his constitutional right to testify based off of this agreement and everything. So I think that this hearing, from the evidence that was presented, for the judge to grant the motion for new trial, there would have had to have been additional evidence. But I think that this hearing was to develop the record, and now the appellate court's going to be able to make a determination whether or not there were constitutional violations and whether or not this evidence that is now in the record supports a new trial.
Yeah, Keith, there was just a lot of people that are going to be disappointed on the Carmelo Anthony side because they felt that they had evidence that there was this gentleman's agreement between the prosecution and the defense, Bill Worski and Toby Shook, where they agreed that they were not going to bring character issues. So the questioning that was done by the defense when it came to cross-examining some of the witnesses, they decided they were not going to get into Austin.
Make sure that you guys get the lights up. I told you, man, these haters and trolls been working overtime to sabotage my channel. I told y'all, you can see them in the comments. These people are sick. They ain't got nothing else to do with their time. But anyway, get the lights up for your boy. I knew they was going to do something. I knew they was going to throw a monkey wrench in the game to stop this boy from getting a new trial.
Metcalf's character, and a lot of times obviously that you don't get that into a trial, the victim's character. However, we learned in this trial that there were a lot of incidents involving Austin Metcalf and his brother where there were allegations of racism and violence and bullying, and so they're going to be upset about this, and obviously are going to still try to appeal this. So talk a little bit about that whole character issue and this gentleman's agreement and how unusual it was.
Well, again, I think that the unusual part to it was more, that both sides weren't on the same page, right? And so if it were in writing or something like that, maybe everyone has the same understanding of what it is. Again, I think with the hearing of all this, all this evidence is in the record now. And of course, people are going to have opinions and yeah, there's trouble spots for both sides to hear, and the information, the evidence that came out, whether it was regarding the Metcalf brothers or regarding Mr. Anthony, and all this these extraneous. And the purpose of this, when you're appealing a case from the defense standpoint, you have to ask for a new trial just to preserve it in the record. And so that was what the defense had to do. Again, they were developing the record. The appellate court's going to decide constitutional violations and things like that. This judge, his job was not to decide constitutional violations. That's why you don't have findings of fact of what he believed regarding that. But it is clearing the record up and laying the record so that the appellate court will be able to make a determination and make a decision based off of now the full record of everything and how it affected both sides.
But there was a lot of also information that came out about Carmelo Anthony and some violence in his past, as well as some racism in his past. And there were a lot of concerns also when you read some of the evidence that was presented. Do you think that you would want that before the jury, a new jury? Are they gambling on trying to get a new trial here?
Well, if there is a new trial, everything potentially comes back in, right? Or is at least subject to coming back in. You can see why, I could see why as an attorney, the defense would want to have some sort of an agreement that evidence not come in for your client. Whenever your client's accused of stabbing someone and there's text messaging earlier about stabbing someone, or if he stabbed someone that he would lick the blood off the knife, it's highly prejudicial to your client, and it's something that if it does come in the record, everyone will see how it plays out if there's a new trial. But I can see why the defense would not want that, because it is very prejudicial to your client.
Teresa?
Keith and Rebecca, I know that for many people, it feels like the wheels of justice move very slowly in this nation. However, this feels like it's been somewhat of a fast pace when you consider that this happened in April of 2025. We got a conviction in 2026, and now we are already hearing, this motion for a new trial. let's talk about the process moving forward. Keith, if you would weigh in, when do we expect, we already know that the defense is going to appeal this ruling from the judge.
Yeah, man, they gonna stay on code for sure. Tania. They got a code and they gonna stick to it. They wanted to fry Carmelo Anthony for this, right? White people wanted to make an example out of Carmelo Anthony. And I knew it, like when I was covering this thing last year, I said they're gonna make an example out of Carmelo. He better have a great defense team, man, because they want to fry this dude bad. They want to hang. Listen, if this was the 1930s, they would have lynched Carmelo outside of the courtroom. Jake Lang said it himself. He said, "I wish I could hang Carmelo Anthony." And if this was the 1920s, they would have did just that. This right here was a legal lynching. A legal lynching. Well, back then the lynchings were legal as well, but I'm just saying, you get the picture.
When do we expect we might hear more about that appellate process?
Well, it's going to take time. I mean, there's going to have to be a record. The defense is going to have to get a record. I'm not sure if they have the total record of the trial transcript yet. Obviously, there'll be transcript and record from this hearing. They'll have to have time to prepare their brief and file their brief with the appellate court. The appellate court will have to look at it and go through it and determine if they want to have a hearing regarding it, if they'll make a decision without a hearing. And then it goes to one appellate court, the Court of Appeals, and then potentially the Court of Criminal Appeals, and then potentially could go all the way to the Supreme Court if they're. So there's a constant process of how far this ends up going or where this stops. And so I don't know the exact time frame of what that's going to look like because we don't know at what level it'll stop. So, but it will be a timely process. It is going to take some time. So, you know, who's to say exactly how long that'll be?
Keith, some people are going to wonder what happens to Carmelo Anthony during this time. Does he stay in prison or is he released on bond? Yeah. What typically happens in a case while you are awaiting the appellate court? Obviously, he's been denied a new trial, so that wouldn't really come into play, but he'll stay there. And then if he was granted a new trial, what would happen after that?
So my understanding is right now, since the motion for new trial was denied, he will go back to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice and be housed there. And depending on what happens with the appellate courts and the decisions there, that would ultimately dictate, you know, what happens if something were to change. But until there's something new or it's finally decided that there is a new trial, finally decided it, and they get time there, then that'll kind of determine where he'll be housed. But until there's a final decision, I would assume that he'll just be back in the custody of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
Teresa?
Yeah. Okay, well, just to reset with everybody, if they are just now joining us, we got this word from Collin County within the last half hour that the judge who had been assigned to hear this appeal for a new trial from Carmelo Anthony and his legal team has denied that motion. What exactly does that mean? It means that he will not have immediately a new trial granted, but we do know that there will be an appeals process that could take quite a while. But that is what to
see. There you go. Like, of course they're gonna appeal it, but sometimes an appeal can take years, man. Sometimes it can take up to 2 years. So Carmelo Anthony's gonna sit in prison while all of this stuff plays out. That's the unfortunate reality for the young brother, man.
Expect moving forward. We know a lot of what came out in the last few days. I would just categorize it as ugly. I mean, it was just not, it was not pleasant to hear some of the things that we were hearing, Keith. And we know that a jury did not hear all of those things. From your legal perspective, are you surprised by the things that came out in the last couple of days from both sides? We knew there were explosive, really, allegations from both sides. It's things that both the Metcalf brothers and Carmelo Anthony were accused of that the jury never heard. Are you surprised by the things you heard over the last couple of days?
Yeah, I think I am. You think that these are 17, 18-year-old boys. There were a lot of extraneous offenses on both sides.
Yeah.
And I think for that age, at that age, we can all say, well, boys are dumb, they're immature, they make mistakes.
Well, you have to understand this. Excuse me. When you look at the case analysis, when you look at the case analysis case, right? When he underlined Jose Ramirez, right? I mean, he stabbed his kid multiple times. It happened in Texas. It happened at school inside of the bathroom, right? So case analysis brings a knife to school because he anticipated an altercation with Jose Ramirez. He uses the knife. Hit him multiple times. He hit him multiple times with the knife, at least 4 to 5 times. And he only gets 10 years. He'll be home in 5. The same state. So you can't even argue that, hold on, man, that was a whole nother state. No, it happened in the state of Texas. The only difference is Casey Allison is white. Carmelo Anthony is black.
Mistakes, they do different things. You know, I'll just say that I'm just surprised at the level and the number of just incidences on both sides and the extraneous bad acts on both sides. That was the surprising part to me. Obviously, the racism or the incidents, the assaults and threats and knives and fighting videos and all of those things. I mean, it was just a lot for 17-year-olds. I mean, I just think that when you're thinking about maybe having a victim or a defendant that has some sort of bad acts, you think of maybe there's a couple, maybe there's, you know, one night that was bad for the person. But I just think in this situation, the thing that surprised me was just the volume of incidences on both sides.
Yeah. Okay. Keith Harris, we appreciate your.
I want to bring some people up, man. If you guys are not shy and you got something to say, you want to get something off of your chest, the link is in the chat.
Expertise here. Rebecca, you've been in the courtroom so many hours and so many days, and I know we don't have any, reaction coming in from folks on either side of this, but your sense as you have been in the courtroom during this appeals process, do you feel as though people believed that he would get a new trial, or do you think that people knew this might be a tall hurdle to get over?
Yeah, I mean, it is a high bar to get a new trial, but I do feel that Carmelo Anthony's team and supporters thought that he would get a new trial, specifically because he was not in on any pretrial hearings, which you are supposed to be allowed to do that when you're a defendant. You are supposed to know what your attorneys are doing and what they're talking about with the prosecution, and that didn't happen in this case. The idea that a lot of people didn't get to see what was happening inside the courtroom because that live feed was cut off to the overflow room only during a jury selection, and also because there was this agreement between the attorneys, and they based their entire case, the defense, on this agreement. So they didn't cross-examine some witnesses. They didn't bring in more character witnesses on Carmelo Anthony's behalf because they had made this agreement that they wouldn't talk about character. And some of the witnesses that got up there for Austin Metcalf talked about him being a leader, talked about him being.
I heard people say that. They're like, man, do you know if he got a new trial, he would get more time? Who knows, man? I'm not an expert when it comes to law, so I can't really call it.
A protector of people, and we now know that there was a volume of information involving incidents where they were accused of assaulting other students and using the N-word and racial slurs and cussing out teachers and a lot of disciplinary issues involving the.
And then you got a dude who's made 50 different accounts to troll me, right? Now, you got to be really obsessed with another man to make 50 different accounts to troll me. I'm one man, one individual. You're going to make 50 accounts to troll me? I told you, man, when I told you these trolls and haters are working overtime to sabotage my platform, man. I don't even know who has that much time on their hands to make 50 accounts to troll one man.
Metcalf twins that perhaps the defense
no.
says they would have been able to cross-examine some of the witnesses for the prosecution had they thought that the agreement was going to stay in place and that those character issues wouldn't come back on the other side against Carmelo Anthony. And clearly the defense team was very concerned about some of the text messages that they found on Carmelo Anthony's phone as well that they did not want the jury to hear, specifically an assault against his girlfriend, or that he was going to assault his girlfriend. She went on the day that Austin Metcalf was killed. She went to an assistant principal and told him that she was concerned because they had broken up and he was stalking her, and that he had an obsession with violence and with fighting and guns and weapons, and she was concerned. So all of this, the defense wanted to keep out, but on the other side, they never got to cross-examine some of those witnesses that the prosecution brought forth that talked about the Austin Metcalf being this leader, and that might have been something that they could have impeached those witnesses with. Teresa.
Okay. Let's, if we can, bring up the image one more time of the order that was signed by the judge just a bit ago. Rebecca read this. I'm going to read it, and then I have a question for Keith, just for anybody who is just now joining us and maybe hasn't seen it yet. We've got it right there on your screen. So here's what the judge.
Yeah, man. So, excuse me. It looks like Carmelo is gonna have to sit in prison for some time. You know, like I said, when you file an appeal, that could take years sometimes, man. And we're dealing with the state of Texas, so you know, you just never know with the state of Texas because their laws are so janky. He might have to wait 3 years before he get a damn appeal, right? This is Texas. We are talking about Texas here now. Get the likes up, man.
Said on August 20th, 21st, 2026, came on to be heard defendant's motion for new trial. Upon reviewing the motion, the record, and then you can see handwritten there, the evidence and argument, the briefs, and the relevant case law, the court has determined that the motion should be denied. It is therefore considered, ordered, and adjudged by the court that the motion for a new trial is denied. And you can see it is signed by Michael Chitty, who is sitting by assignment, he wrote. That's covered by that red bar there, but he is sitting by assignment. Okay, let's bring Keith back in. I have a question for you. And then also joining us now, I believe, is WFAA's Jobin Paniker, who has been covering this case since the very beginning. But Keith, after reading that order, and then as I mentioned, we see Michael Chitty sitting by assignment. That's the one side of the coin that did go the defense's way. Can you just talk us through a little bit about why the decision was made to remove the judge who heard the trial and then bring in another judge?
Yeah, they did remove the original judge, and then they brought in a new judge, and the new judge said, nope, no appeal. Appeal denied.
Judge for this appeal.
So the defense wanted the judge recused basically based off of how the trial went, the argument that the judge didn't give the defense long enough to consult with Mr. Anthony in regards to testifying. Like I said, the interview with the TV station after, it was WFAA, after the trial. And so their argument was that he wouldn't be fair and impartial based off of statements in that. And so when the administrative judge made a determination whether to recuse the judge, his decision is based off of, if this judge were to sit, is it going to give the community confidence that he is fair and impartial? And the administrative judge said, look, I believe that he would be fair and impartial, but because of what the appearance would be in the community, the law demanded that he recuse Judge Roach from the case. And so that's why Judge Roach was no longer on the case. And so then bring in Judge Chitty, and that's why Judge Chitty is the judge that listened to this motion for new trial, to have a new judge on there that would be impartial, that would appear impartial as well to the community, because he hadn't had any prior dealings in this case, and there were no actions that people would say that he had already had an opinion one way or the other.
Okay, Keith, thank you again for all of your legal expertise. I do want to bring in Jobin Paniker now. Jobin, we've been talking about this now for the last half hour or so, just the fact that the judge has denied the request for a new trial for Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, man. So you're going to have a lot of people making content about this. It just is what it is, bro. Black people are going to be outraged. The conservatives will celebrate. That's a fact. Please believe it.
You and Rebecca have been covering this so deeply since the very beginning of all of this. Are you hearing? You were.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jay Daniels. It shouldn't be up to one person to decide if this person deserves a new trial. It shouldn't be up to one person, man. Because when you leave it up to one person, it's just you're not going to get a fair shot. Especially when you're talking about the state of Texas, the home of the rednecks.
Are so well sourced in Collin County. Are you hearing any reaction from the Collin County legal community about this?
Well, right now the biggest reaction is coming from my phone, and that's the sound of the alarms going.
And then there's videos that came out about Austin Metcalf's past, right? Now, of course, they don't want to use that. We know he was racist. His daddy is racist. The Metcalf twins learned their racism from their father. We already knew that. I didn't need audio. I didn't need a video, but I guess these videos and recordings it's icing on the cake. It's confirmation from the things that we already knew. We already knew how they felt about black people. Look at their daddy. Carmelo Anthony, watermelon felon. Yeah, how about that? If you guys really think I'm racist, I got something for you. Watermelon felon. Yeah.
Going off in the last 20, 30 minutes. And these are text messages that we're receiving from people on the defense, people on the state side, other county representatives as well, saying, "Did you hear the news? Did you hear the news?" And so the reaction is, "Oh my goodness, did not expect this. Didn't expect it to happen on a Saturday, even though we've been talking about this decision coming down soon after the hearing ended on Friday." And so when we were in court, the Judge Michael Chitty, said, "Listen, I'm going to go home and I'm going to have to look through binders and binders of evidence to make my determination. And I'm going to have to take this home. And the more time you give me, the better." And so we noticed, at least on Friday during those hearings, it was getting later and later and later. It started with Toby Shook in the morning, Bill Werski on the stand right after that. And then after that, we still have closing arguments. And so it runs up until about, I think, 5:30, 6 o'clock. That probably did not give the judge much time that night to look over stuff, but I'm sure he looked over it this morning and made his ruling this late afternoon. And so the judge said he needed the time. And, a lot, when we talked with our legal experts, one of the biggest things that came out of it was, you can tell by what is important to the judge when it comes to finding this, making this decision, is what do they cover in their closing arguments. And the Waller findings, the openness of court came up so much in those closings, and also the sort of the agreement, the unrecorded agreement came up as well. But for the most part, it had to do with those Waller findings. And I know we don't have the findings of fact yet, and I hope that does come out because it'll be a little more substantive.
All right, so 2 more minutes of this, and we're gonna go to the next clip. Get the likes up, man. Make sure that you guys getting the likes up. We would like things to be a whole lot better, but we're gonna still work with the thing. We're gonna work with what we got. We're gonna make it happen.
It'll give us more of an understanding as to why the judge ruled the way he did.
Mm-hmm. Forgive me if I'm wrong here, but and Keith or Rebecca, perhaps you could weigh in. Was there a timeline, a 75-day timeline that the judge was up against in 75 days? While it does not feel like it's been 75 days.
All right, you got this coward in the chat. He doesn't have anything to say. Watch. He say something very trollish, right? Let's see what he had to say. He say something stupid. I'm busting him upside the head and I'm dropping him down. What you got to say, man?
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Hello? Oh man, you see that right there? Hey man, he been trolling his whole time just to do that. It's like I told you, man, I got some of the sickest trolls ever. It's like these people watch me and they're obsessed. I got a small channel, man. Why are you so obsessed with a man with a very small channel on YouTube, bro? This dude has made 50 accounts to troll me. Every time I block him, he comes back with another. Block him, he comes back with another. Anyway, let's get back to the content, though. We ain't gonna get sidetracked.
From my perspective, it feels like it was just yesterday that we were covering that trial. I'm sure for the families involved, it feels like much longer. But was there a 75-day window that the judge had to make a ruling? Keith, Rebecca?
Yes, there was. And the judge was going to have to rule by midnight on Sunday. So we did expect that this was going to happen this weekend. And Keith, I believe that it's going to be, as if they have 20 days now, the defense, to file for an appeal, or that only applied to the prosecution.
That only applied to the prosecution. So if the judge would have granted the motion for new trial, we all would assume that the prosecution would have appealed it, and the prosecution would have had a 20-day deadline to file their appeal from the date of the signing of the order granting them.
If anybody want to pull up, if you have something to say and you're not trolling, hit the link. I would love to hear what you guys have to say.
Motion for new trial. Since it was denied, the defense does not have to file notice, because they've already filed their notice of appeal, and so they can include this in their notice of appeal, but they don't have to do a new filing on that.
So how long do you think before we see it go before the appellate court? I mean, you've appealed cases yourself. I mean, it could take us months, if not years.
Well, I haven't appealed cases because I just do trial work, so I haven't had to actually file the appeals. You know, usually attorneys that do trial work there aren't as many that do appeals. And so my experience, though, is, it could take a few months before it actually gets to the appellate court. Like I said, there's still a lot of time for transcripts, for defense to prepare their motions, it to be filed and get to the appellate court, and then the appellate court to review everything. So it's going to take some time. This isn't something that just gets expedited. If we felt that the trial happened fast, it's not that the appellate courts are going to expedite this and make things happen fast. Everything takes time just because there are so many moving parts in that.
And when it gets before the appellate court, there are no witnesses. It is what is on the record and whatever else the defense files. So can you explain that process of what the defense is going to present to those judges, to the appellate judges?
Right. So the defense is, I would assume, going to present the same things that they argued in this motion for new trial, as well as probably some other points of error of the trial court. And like you said, there are no witnesses that testify live to the appellate court. And that's why this hearing that was just had was so important, was to develop a record, because the defense is going to file their...
I mean, my thing is this: who testified in Carmelo's defense? Because I didn't hear anybody testifying in this young man's defense, but they did bring up people who testified against him, right? Maybe you guys know some things that I don't know. Can you guys put me up on game? Name one person that testified in Carmelo's defense.
Their petition with the court on appeal, and then the prosecution, the state's gonna have...
Yeah, I've been saying that, Scoop. I've been saying it. I knew that last year, and I covered that on my main channel before it got terminated. I said that they're gonna do everything in their power to make an example out of Carmelo Anthony. I knew it. And God knows how long it's going to take for him to get a damn appeal. That could take 2 to 3 years. But like I said, we're dealing with the state of Texas. So you got to consider that as well.
An opportunity to file their response to that. And so there are so many things, like I said, moving parts in time that has to happen to get all this stuff done. So it's going to take some time. It's not going to be anything that we're going to know anything probably in the next month or two. It's going to take time, because everybody once the state gets the petition, then they're going to have time to respond to it. And so everyone has their own time period that they have to do things, and then the court has to review it and read it and make a decision on it. And if they want to request a hearing and have both parties come in because they have questions about the briefs that were filed, then the live testimony or responses are going to be what we call oral arguments. And those are going to be the defense and the state's representative that would go in front of the appellate court and answer questions by the appellate judges.
Okay, I want to just jump in here and give everybody a chance for a final word, because we're going to do our best to wrap this up here in just the next couple of minutes, so we can stop down and have a couple of minutes to get ready for our newscast at 5 o'clock. But Jobin, maybe if you want to just give us your final thoughts, then we'll hear from Rebecca and Keith.
I'll make it very quick. We all know
All right, let's go to the next clip, man. Enough of this right here, man. Let's go to the next one. Oh man, I think we already know. You know what the black conservatives are gonna say. When you heard one of them, you didn't heard them all. So, check this out.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Hyper.
Now this is hype right here. Check it out.
Live here to get some breaking news and top stories. We're going to get right into it. Austin Metcalf and the Carmelo Anthony case seems to have picked up some steam recently, as the judge attached to it has been removed. Some of the biggest news coming out of the story are the backgrounds of the two teens. One being Carmelo Anthony. There was like an alleged text message that would be released, giving people some concerns. But when it comes down to Austin Metcalf's background, there was an extensive bullying record, as well as things involving the KKK, that has now been made to light.
In this motion for a new trial, the background reports are being released, and the defense is going first, releasing 20 pages now of Austin Metcalf's behavioral history. Carmelo Anthony was dressed in a suit and tie for this morning's hearing, which began with the defense arguing that efforts by the trial judge and prosecutors to combat threats and deal with disruptions actually prevented Anthony from getting an open and fair trial. But bombshell testimony came this afternoon from Anthony's trial attorney, Mike Howard, about Austin Metcalf's background report that was never presented to the jury. CBS News Texas has also learned new details about Austin Metcalf's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." There are several documented instances of Austin using racial slurs in school. And in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class. In 2018, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to his arrest. During an argument in 2024 with another female student, Austin allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. He was also kicked out of a football game and texted someone later, "I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids." At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote, "behind our bench was talking wild," Austin reportedly replied, "Kill that MF." During the 2023-2024 school year, he received in-school suspension twice. School disciplinary records from April 2022 to May 2024 reveal that Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. In 2024, on at least 5 occasions, Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he got banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. Metcalf also got suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day.
I mean, when was it going to stop? Suspended 7 years in a row?
Yeah.
Bullying?
Man, he said they spray painted KKK, unalive all blacks. We knew they was racist, right? And then you got these dumbass black conservatives caping for some white supremacists. We're not surprised that Austin Metcalf was a racist piece of crap. Look at his father. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. We already knew they felt this way. Look at their daddy. Watermelon felon. Yeah, how about that?
Constantly, teachers calling teachers names, hitting young women, little girls.
Yeah.
I mean,
Your
like,
reaction, Bevan, when you hear this rap sheet, ideally that has now been released, what's your initial reaction?
So you guys heard that, man. You heard it.
Carmelo Anthony had a history involving fights, weapons, disturbing messages, allegations involving his girlfriend, and claims that he had been stalking her. Austin Metcalf, however, had his own history that almost nobody knew about, including racist incidents, repeated use of racial slurs, allegations of bullying, and violence toward female students, anger issues, school suspensions, and even an incident where he and another student were suspended after talking about bringing a gun to school the next day. And some of the details were even more extreme than that. Court documents show Austin and his brother were once caught spray painting graffiti that included KKK, Kill All Blacks, Heil Hitler, and the N-word, an incident that resulted in 12 months of juvenile probation, and none of this was shown to the jury. Now, despite the things that we're going to talk about in this video,
you see what we're talking about? And people was in denial. Now, they always want to use a black person's past against them. How come they didn't use Austin's past against him? Well, he's white. We already have the answer, but I'm just saying, and I'm asking a question that we have the answer to. We know why they never used Austin's past against him. They tried their best to cover it up, to make it seem like he was just an all-American white boy who had a promising future. Then all of a sudden, he was unalived by this black thug. When in reality, Austin Metcalf was a thug. He was a racist piece of you-know-what. His daddy is a white supremacist. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. But of course, they never brought up none of this in the trial because they didn't want to tell the truth about Austin's character. So they did everything in their power to bury that. They didn't want none of that stuff to be mentioned during that trial.
based on my own moral standards, I can't really say that Austin's death was justified. But this does dramatic painting graffiti that included KKK, were once gun to school the next day. And some of the details were even more extreme than that. Court documents show Austin and his brother were once caught spray painting graffiti that included KKK, Kill All Blacks, Heil Hitler, and the N-word, an incident that resulted in 12 months of juvenile probation. And none of this was shown to the jury. Now, despite the things that we're going to talk about in this video, based on my own moral standards, I can't really say that Austin's death was justified. But this does dramatically change what we know about both teenagers going into that confrontation. So basically, we've gotten a bunch of new information about the murder case involving Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. And this information is actually really substantial because we're now learning a lot more about who both of these teenagers were before that confrontation ever happened. This situation, of course, dates back to April 2025, when Carmelo and Austin got into a confrontation underneath a tent at a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas. Carmelo stabbed Austin during that confrontation.
All right, so we know about that. I just wanted to show you guys Austin's racist history, right? It is crazy. Hit the like button, family. Oh, Lord Jesus. Here we go. Here we go.
So we just wrapped up the first hearing for the motion for a new trial. So how do you think it went?
It's mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Everything we noticed, a lot of things about the boys that wasn't sent out to the public. You agree? Mm-hmm. Based on what was told, the narrative, it hurt us, man. It just made us. It's right now. I'm still. It was so much at that time.
Yeah. It was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Damn, the dude had a penchant for fighting, for violence.
Yes.
Very, very.
Never
violent.
put out there.
Yeah, like smacking on his friends or so-called friends, smacking on
wordings he was using,
choking his own mama.
Yeah, that threw me off. I mean, your mama. I said, man, you got to be different.
Threatening to slap his dad and he don't do nothing. Yeah, this kid right here, like he was a real problem. You know, when I heard all that stuff, I'm talking about a treasure
Whoa,
trove.
Willie D, the audio is trash, Willie D. I wanted to use this, but I can't use it because the audio is just trash, man. I mean, the audio is terrible. Lord Jesus, that audio is terrible, man. Hold on one second, man. Work with me, work with me. Hold on, why I can't use that one. Hold on, you guys. Hold up. Wait on your boy. I'm looking for this video that I had. I don't know, man. I don't think I have it, man. I thought I had it queued up, but for some reason I cannot find it. So we're not gonna use that. The audio is too choppy on that one, man. But yeah, man, the situation was just terrible, man. Like I say, they didn't want.
All of you who said this craziness about Carmelo Anthony. He shouldn't have did this. He shouldn't have did that. Well, when you hear tonight what came out about this Austin Metcalf, when everybody was saying, including myself, he was defending himself, he had a right to defend himself, then you know what that meant a little bit more tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you joining me. Also, to go through all the platforms, definitely thank you for joining us on the African Diaspora News Channel app. We so greatly appreciate that. We still talking about wealth transfer, and I know y'all shopping more black and doing things for the foundation of Black American community, free for in the future. It is, like I say, $9.99 a month. It's definitely less than a coffee. Shout out to YouTube. You know, this is the OG platform we've been on. Right. As we have made the title all very short and to the point on TikTok, at least. Shame on y'all. Shame on y'all. Definitely, we're gonna talk about that those who just joined. So let's go ahead and cue up this news clip, ladies and gentlemen. Let's cue this up, and let's hear about your boy Austin Metcalf. And you tell me about. And this is the guy that these people were defending. Let's go.
Carmelo Anthony was dressed in a suit and tie for this morning's hearing, which began with the defense arguing that efforts by the trial judge and prosecutors to combat threats and deal with disruptions actually prevented Anthony from getting an open and fair trial. But bombshell testimony came this afternoon from Anthony's trial attorney, Mike Howard, about Austin Metcalf's background report that was never presented to the jury. CBS News Texas has also learned new details about Austin Metcalf's background. Metcalf and his brother Hunter were once caught spray painting graffiti, including KKK Kill All Blacks and Heil Hitler, along with the N-word, and were sentenced to 12 months of juvenile probation. Records reveal they reportedly told authorities, "We did some dumb stuff. We did some vandalism." There are several documented instances of Austin using racial slurs in school. And in 2023, Austin was accused of bullying a black student in class. In 2018, while still in elementary school, Austin and his brother were accused of bullying and assaulting a female, which led to his arrest. During an argument in 2024 with another female student, Austin allegedly knocked her to the ground and punched her in the stomach. He was also kicked out of a football game and texted someone later, "I was about to beat the expletive out of those kids." At a previous track meet, when another student alerted Austin that someone not on their team, quote, "behind our bench was talking wild," Austin reportedly replied, "Kill that MF." During the 2023-2024 school year, he received in-school suspension twice. School disciplinary records from April 2022 to May 2024 revealed that Austin reportedly called a teacher the B word and used profanity. He told a school official that he couldn't control it and wasn't aware that it was coming out of his mouth. In 2024, on at least 5 occasions, Austin saw a counselor regarding his anger and rage during a football game. In 2021, he got banned from attending basketball games for a season after yelling profanity at a player. Metcalf also got suspended after he and another student were talking about bringing a gun to school the following day.
They're going to say, well, it doesn't matter. Carmelo still didn't have the right to do what he did to him. Carmelo is a killer. He deserves to be in prison for 60 years, man. It didn't give Carmelo the right to do what he did to Austin. It doesn't matter that Austin celebrates Adolf Hitler. It doesn't matter that Austin celebrates the Ku Klux Klan. It didn't matter that he was running around bullying people and using the N-word. None of that stuff matters. Carmelo had no business doing that to our good old white brother.
Oh, where do we start? Oh Lord, where do we start? Now, did you hear the last part? Wanted to talk about bringing a firearm to school. Everything I heard was, let me summarize it, kind of like an AI summary.
Now, keep in mind, this ain't my audio, man. This is Phil's audio, man. For some reason, it's popping like popcorn with Phil's audio. Everything else is running smooth, but shout out to Phil Scott, man.
What I heard was a rabid anti-black racist who's sitting up here spray painting KKK and Hitler and all this other mess. Just a rabid anti-black racist, a violent anti-black racist, a coward who attacked girls, right? A bully who picks on people. Of course, saying the N-word.
See, of course, there was not. See, we already knew. We know why they never presented this during the trial, because they wanted to paint Austin Metcalf as this good all-American white kid with a promising future. So, of course, they were going to hide this. They wanted to make sure that they got Carmelo Anthony convicted before all of this stuff came out. I promise you that.
He was a menace to the school. That's why he was being suspended all over the place. He was a menace. And you folks was trying to crown him as just such a good guy. And oh my God, Carmelo is just a savage. Oh, look what he did. Look, it's amazing how listen, anytime, and I've seen this so many times, anytime I see them just coming out supporting somebody, I'm always gonna wonder, I don't think that's one of the good ones that they should be supporting. Because 9 times out of 10, they don't really support the good ones. And listen, you know who really got that rabbit hole started? The old silly daddy. When that fool came out saying watermelon felon, the moment that he said that, I say, oh boy. I say, okay. And then listen, I've been the one telling you that they know the N-word by the age of 2. Now, why do I say that? Around the age of 2, they start talking. The reason why they know that word, not because they were born with that in their head. No, nobody is. But they say that mess so much around those children that they end up saying that, whether it's the direct parents or other family members, somebody in their community saying it around these children. And you know how some people like to hear children cuss, and so they try to make them cuss and get them to say it so they can laugh, hee hee ha ha. Oh, you heard that child say it, which is despicable. They do the same thing about the N-word too. They say it in front of them, and then they want them to say it so they can laugh about it. But what I said about that old daddy of theirs, I said, see, what a lot of you do in that community of yours, you may not would have took it that far, like your son did. You may not been one to spray KKK on a wall. You may not been one to walk around saying the N-word in public. You may say it all day in your house, but you didn't say it in public. But when you're teaching your kids this mess, you don't know if that kid gonna take it to the next level.
And listen, we already knew that Austin was a racist piece of you know what, and he got it from his daddy, man. You know, they got it from their daddy. That's why they celebrate Hitler. This is why they celebrate the KKK. They get it from their father. Come on, man. The state of Texas, the home of the rednecks, the home of Ku Klux Klan members and white supremacist groups. We are not surprised. This right here is only confirmation.
Act on everything you taught them. So let's call it what it is. It's their daddy fault. Why part of the reason why he not here. Now, of course, Austin made his own choices. But instead of teaching your kid right from wrong.
Scoop, what it do, bro?
Salute, Red. Salute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, my brother.
Hey man, look, this ain't shocking to us. We already knew that. When this came out, right? When I first heard it and the way it went down, first thing I said to myself, yeah, they must have either said something to Carmelo or did something to Carmelo.
Yeah.
Because ain't nobody finna jump up and just poke somebody just for not how that's not how we get down. And the problem is with them is they don't know our people like we know our people. We know if it's Pookie or Ray Ray, oh yeah, that was them. They robbed that liquor store. Yeah, I know how they did. I can tell you how they did it. We know.
Yeah.
So this is not nothing new to us. You see what I'm saying? The problem is they tried to paint Carmelo into something he wasn't. You know, they thought they could pull this. He's a gangster. He's a thug. You know, he got a temperament when really it was Austin who had that. He's the one that was the thug. He's the one with the issues and the problems. But they couldn't let that get out. Problem was we was clashing because we knew better. They tried to sell us on that and we wasn't buying it. We know how they get down. And one thing I know, they only get down like this in them predominantly white areas. Because it ain't enough of us over there. When it's enough of us, they don't pull that mess.
Right.
Kind of the thing with the Nolan Wells. Wherever them white folks live and you move in where they're at and they are the predominant race, they get real cocky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they don't care about calling you the N-word. They'll say whatever they want to you when they want. You know, they'll be in your business, wonder how much your house costs and how could you afford it and why are you over there and who your kids this and your kids that or your husband this and your wife that. That's what they do. Because they still treat us like we still own the plantation. That's the problem. They want to run us and control us. And when they don't got that kind of control over us and something like this happens, it's, well, you must be punished for the act. There ain't no getting out of it. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. They know what Austin was about. They just don't care because they had who they want. They want to make an example out of Carmelo to let everybody else know, and the few little sprinkled Negroes that might be there, this could be you. Cross us. You don't defend yourself against us. You don't buck up against us, no matter what we do to you. That's the same mentality they had on the plantation. I can beat you, whoop you, do anything to you, but you can't retaliate. You retaliate, we gonna do something to you. It's the same mentality, Red. The same damn mentality. That wasn't no, you know, and I know black folks, you know, they get a little money and they want to move off to them suburbs where them really white people is. And no, I'm you know what? The best place is around your people. You know, now you want to move to a little better off, move to something diverse. You know, something that got a little bit of everybody where nobody's overpowering the other one. Because it's the same thing. You move over there with the Mexicans. You move with the Mexicans, it's going to be the same thing. You move with the Asians, it's going to be the same thing. You move with the East Indians, it's going to be the same thing. Anywhere where they are predominantly the higher race, you're going to get issues. No matter what. We're the only people that allow everybody else to come in our neighborhood and we don't treat them no differently. We don't give them no smoke. We don't got no problem where they move in at. Hell, they can come down the street and talk to us and say hello and hi. We don't press them like that. We don't go after their kids like that. We don't go after them. Hell, a lot of us would be like, hey, man, you know, you got a package on your door. I seen them deliver it. You know what I mean? So I kept my eye on it to make sure, you know, trying to be neighborly. But it's not reciprocated when it comes to us. If his mom and them got any sense, they need to get out of Texas. They're moving to another city in Texas. They need to get the hell up out of Texas.
They came there from New Orleans, and they and you know New Orleans is just next door. They thought they was giving them a better life by leaving New Orleans, and it turned out to be one of the worst decisions they ever made. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, Red, you know how, you know, we be looking for some place to live in an apartment, and you come by in the daytime and it look all fancy at nights, and the first thing you say, yeah, I got to come back here at night and see what's going on, and then you see everybody hanging out at night, and you like, that's tell you right there, I ain't moving over there. You know what I'm saying? It look like it get cracking around here. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of what you got to do when you black. You can't just move anywhere and everywhere. I know a lot of people, well, I mean, move where I want and I should be able to go. Well, what you should be able to do and what you should be able to do are two different things, because your safety could be, in jeopardy. Because to me, this sounds like one of them, like one of them sundown towns. All the white people run everything. Carmelo ain't got a chance in hell. The judge is corrupt. The police is corrupt. The citizens is corrupt. The school he go to is corrupt. The coaches is corrupt. It's like everybody against Carmelo. You know what I'm saying? I knew he wasn't going to get a retrial. I knew he wasn't, because that would defeat the whole purpose of white supremacy.
Yep.
They want him punished for what happened to that white boy. It don't matter what the white boy did. It don't matter what he did, what he said. You know what I'm saying? We all knew, because I sure knew I said they probably jumped him. And Carmelo, not being that type of kid, because I mean, come on now, Red, we from the streets. You could take one look at Carmelo and see he not built like that. He not no street dude. You know what I'm saying? So if he panicked and poked him to get him off of him, what did y'all expect him to do? Just sit there and get a beat down? Austin already got a history of beating people down. And I'm pretty sure that was well known at the school by all the students about Austin and his brother Hunter. I'm pretty sure that was well known, whether it was the teachers, whether it was the students, or whatever. But what happened is Austin, just like a lot of these white kids, they never get checked, Red. And 9 times 10, we end up checking them. I know, because when I used to be locked up and they come in there, they a holder, man, we got to check the hell. Hey, bro, you don't just get to go up and get on the phone with, I need to call, man. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's not your time for the phone. Man, you better calm that shit down. You know what I'm saying? You better calm it down. You in here bouncing off the walls, homie. You know what I'm saying? Why are you guys picking them? Nah, homie, it's rules up in here. I mean, maybe your mama didn't teach you rules, but it's rules up in here. You don't come in here and just do whatever you so please. You know what I'm saying? It's rules up in here. Now, you want to keep acting up, we going to be on your bumper, period. Especially in that LA County, them white boys be shook. You know what I'm saying? Shook, wayside shook. We know. You know what I'm saying? But see, their parents don't tell them no, Red. They allow them to do whatever they want. Oh, Mom, why can't I do it? Mom, that's not fair. That old kind of mess. They ain't ever had no heat to that behind. So apparently Austin and his brother Hunter ain't never had to answer to nobody. So they the big old bullies. With all this stuff they done did, their parents wasn't trying to get them no help, apparently. So apparently they was just doing as they please. So then somebody else got to deal with your child. Unfortunately, this is the type of thing that may happen when somebody got to deal with your little crumb snatcher that don't know how to act right. Somebody may step up and put them in check. He lucky that's all they got. Should have brought him to the city. Bring him to LA. They'd have got way more than that. Wouldn't have been no poke. Period. You know what I'm saying? Bring him to LA high schools. Wouldn't have been no poke. Man, they would have got the stuffing beat out they behind. Both of them. You know what I'm saying? So a little poke, and apparently, from what I seen, it wasn't that big of a knife. That wasn't something to kill him. That was something to get him off of him. And so that's what he did. And then you go give Carmelo 35 years. And then they say they mad at us. But this old white lady running around here that's going viral that then killed her 3 kids. These women up here marching for her.
Yeah,
and
I seen that.
Lindsay Clancy, I think that's her name. They killed all 3 of her kids, strangled them to death. But they riding with her. But then mad because we riding with Melo.
And the thing is this, man, with the case analysis and the white boy, they can't say, oh, that was a different state. No, it happened in the state of Texas. He poked somebody 4 to 5 times, poked him in the back, the stomach, the lower back, he poked him up and only got 10 years. He'll be home in 5. And think about it like this, Scoop. He took a knife to school. That means that he anticipated an altercation, because why else would he take a knife to school? He said he wanted to do it. He told everybody he wanted to put Jose Ramirez on life support. He said this way before the homicide took place. He carried out the plans. He took the knife to school, did it, poked him up. And then after he poked him up, he tried to go on a run. He was trying to go on a run. So he did all of that. It proves that he was a flight risk. He tried to leave. He still got bail after it was proven that he was a flight risk. He told everybody he wanted to do it prior to doing it. The white boy only gets 10 years. He'll be home in 5. And they're saying he's trying to appeal the 10 years. And he only got to do 5 out of that. The white boy said, man, I don't even want to do these 5. I want to appeal this now and go home. So we already see what it is, man. The only difference is Kaysen is white. Carmelo is black. Carmelo stabbed somebody once, run off. Kaysen Allison poked somebody multiple times and gets charged with reckless homicide, which is the equivalent to manslaughter.
Exactly. That's my whole point, Red. It's different laws for them than it is for us. You see what I'm saying? We can't. I had a homeboy had the same thing happen to him. Somebody tried to rob him and carjacked him. He busts on them. They give him all day.
Yeah, that's cold.
Hey, the judge tell him he shouldn't have had a weapon. He told the judge, if I hadn't had no weapon, I'd be dead. They had weapons. What did you want me to do? Nope. Sent him right off to the pen. You know, and I'm like, and I'm sitting up in there with him. I'm telling him, man, hey, I would have did the same thing. It's either their life or my life. You know what I'm saying? But the system ain't set up for us to win. It never has been, and it never will be. This is what we deal with as black people every single day. We got to watch our moves, the things we do, because the laws is different for us. The white folks, look, that girl, that OnlyFans girl stabbed up that African dude. She gonna be out in a couple of years.
Yeah, man.
I mean, really, we seeing it right before our eyes. It is a different justice system. We are not allowed to defend ourselves. We are not allowed or afforded the same rights that everybody. And I tell people that all the time. When they made that Constitution, we was what, considered 3/5 of a human being. Yeah. They still had slaves when they sat down and made that Constitution. So if you think they made that for us, you got to be dumb as dirt. That don't apply to us. Those same rules, man. I see all kinds of stuff. These cop videos, I'll be watching them, Red. When it come to us, they snatch us out the car by our hair, by our arms, throw us on the ground. They sit there with them folks. They sit there and bargain with them, trying to get them out the car. You know, they be ready to shoot one of us. They ask them, plead and beg with them. I'm like, so it's a whole different story. We all know. I used to have that rule, Red, when homies jumped in my car, we not going nowhere 4 deep. That's an automatic pullover. Nigga, take them hats off. Turn them hats around. All you niggas got white tees on. Oh yeah, we going to jail today. You better not have nothing on you, because I know we gonna get pulled over. It's a different. They don't know nothing about that. They never had to go through that. Austin and Hunter then had their life given to them, so they didn't show no respect. So here's Carmelo, a black kid, and they just thinking he's another one that's gonna go for it, and he didn't go for it. That's all it was. You know, I already know Red Carmelo ain't just gonna get away without doing some time. He gonna do some time.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, we might as well just face that. He gonna do some time. It's just how much time he gonna do.
Right. We knew it. We was like, nah, they self-defense. Nah, they ain't gonna let him get away with that. They're gonna want some time. There's no way he's gonna get off on a self-defense charge. You know, you think about it being Texas, and then when you look at Collin County is notorious for being racist. If you ask anybody from Texas, they'll tell you about Collin County. If you black, you better not commit no crime in Collin County. Collin County is the Scoop. Collin County is the equivalent to Simi Valley. That's why that's where they wanted OJ trial to be in Simi. Was it Simi Valley? Yeah, because you already know what's gonna go down in Simi Valley. So Collin County in Texas is the equivalent, bro.
Yeah, see, they have it all set up, Red. It's not designed for us to win. That's why with us, you know, we try to stay out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because we know what happens with that justice system. There is none. When they get you tangled in that, Red, that'd be like the worst thing. You trying to get your number dropped. You trying to get in there and see what type of deal they gonna give you. It ain't my time. This my white attorney told me this. She said it ain't about guilt or innocent when you black. It's about how much time you willing to give them before you can get back home. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Because you sit there and talk about how you not guilty and try to fight that, you might wind up getting 35 years for something you know you didn't do. You know what I'm saying? Get in there, try to do your little time and get out and try to stay out the way. You know, they don't understand that. They believe that their justice system is fair because it treats them fair. They refuse to admit that there's racism. They refuse to admit there's a different law when it comes to us. They refuse to admit that. What they want to say is, oh, well, Carmelo took Austin's life and you guys want him to go home? He's a murderer. Why should he get to go home? Oh, well, he was scared to fight. Knowing good and damn well, we know most of them ain't never been in a fist fight in their life. So they don't know what a fight feels like. They don't know what getting hit in the jaw feels like. They don't know what it feels like to have your nose bust. They don't know what it feels like to get jumped on by more than one people, or person. They don't know nothing about that. So when they sit up here and talk all this mess about he should have fought back, they cowards they damn self. They don't fight back. They either gonna shoot at you or run and call 911 while they running.
Yeah.
How many times you see them going toe to toe with us without getting knocked out? They know better than that. They not gonna come up on us like that. They got to do what they did to Carmelo. They got to have 3 or 4 or 5 of them. They know that it's like the jail. You know what I'm saying? We get, hey, you gonna take them 2 and 3 over there, and I'm gonna take these 3 over here. They know better. But they want to sit up and play games in our faces like what they doing. Unfortunately, it's a sad situation that Carmelo is in. I wouldn't wish that on nobody. You know what I'm saying? None of our people, because it's too easy for that to happen to me, Red, people in the chat. It's just too easy because you don't never know what you're going to be faced with. You know what I mean? I done had that thing where people with the road rage and, they cut in front of you and flip you off and all that. I mean, when you start getting older, Ray, you got to learn to let some things go because there's too much stuff out here. I had you sitting in that prison system behind one of them because they going home and you getting the handcuffs and now you got a case to go fight.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's why I said I understand Carmelo, parents' reasoning, but you got to look at the situation that you putting your kids in because there's other brothers that Carmelo got. I don't know if he got a sister, but there's other kids. You putting yourself in a situation to where they can't win.
They got other kids, and the father lost his job because he was working for a car dealership out there, and then when he's going to work, it was white people coming up to the job, calling the job, and the car dealership like, man, we catching too much heat just by having this dude work here. We got to let him go. So when they said the family was misusing funds and the thing is, he lost his job. Nobody wants to hire him because they seen all the heat that the car dealership was catching just by him working there. So when this whole situation took place, money got low. He ain't working no more. And they got other kids to support. Just like you said, he got other brothers and sisters that are younger that they got to support. The dad lost his job. So there you go. So now you're screwed financially. Don't nobody want to hire him in that same county right now. They got to move somewhere else. There's no way. I mean, the best thing they can do is take their family and just move somewhere else. They don't need to live nowhere near that town no more. The father done already caught so much heat. He lost his job. Man, hey, school white supremacists was coming up to the job, trolling the job, calling the job, calling companies that are hiring them. Say, oh, they got the daddy of the murderer works here, and they caught so much heat behind that they had to just let him go.
Yeah, that's what happens when you harm one of theirs. Yeah. This is what they do. They gonna make your life miserable. Yeah. Especially when they're the predominant race. That's why you can't be living places like, it may look nice and look like a utopia and all that, but you got to think of long term, Red. When you move around them and they're all you surrounded by, first of all, they're going to be jealous because they're wondering how you can afford to live where they live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when something like this happened, they're going to turn against you because like you said earlier about who came to Carmelo's defense. I bet it was not one person in that town. And it seemed like one of them towns where, they're influenced by certain people and they don't want to go against the grain because next thing you know, they family in the spotlight. They family in the crosshairs. It seemed like that one place, like everybody got to get on code or somebody going to have some issues.
Because that's why the dude Eddie, they said, well, how come Eddie switched it up? Well, we know why Eddie switched it up. We understand history. We know what it is, Scoop. We know why Eddie said that he was going to speak on Carmelo's behalf. They got in his ear. You better not do that. We're going to make your life a living hell. You better not get up there and defend that Negro. So he did a complete 360 once he got up there and threw Carmelo under the bus because he was thinking about saving his own ass. He didn't want them white folks to get on his bumper.
He didn't want to be the next Carmelo. Because he thought to himself, is Carmelo really worth all that? I'm putting my family in danger. I'm in danger. Look what these people got power. And evidently, you know what I'm saying, in Collin County, they got power out there.
Yeah.
That's why I said they need to move, Red. They know that life is over. They got that life in Collin County is over. I don't know if they can go back to Louisiana, but I get my butt out of the state of Texas. Because apparently this is what they're doing. You know what I mean? They don't want them to defend their own son, which is what they're supposed to do. That's their son. You know, good or bad, right or wrong, they're supposed to defend him. You know what I'm saying? But they don't like that. They want them to throw him under the bus, leave him alone, and let whatever happen to him happen to him. That's not even logic. You know what I'm saying? Because look what the Austin's family did. They came right to his defense when they're the ones that started the whole fiasco in the first damn place. You know what I'm saying? If they hadn't approached Carmelo, because Carmelo was already there, they don't got no authority to tell Carmelo to move or get up. Or no, they should have went and got somebody of authority, security, coach, someone that if they wanted him to move that bad. But you decided that you're going to put your hands on him. What white folks don't understand, and this is the biggest thing with them, is they think there's rules when someone puts their hands on you. Ain't no damn rules. First thing they want rules, then they want to throw the law. Well, you can't this and you can't that. Abiding by those rules might cost you your life. You want to play rules. How you gonna play rules when the person putting their hands on you then already broke the rules? That's up to you now how you respond. Because that might be the last day on your earth. You sitting over here telling yourself what you can and can't do, and this person got their hands on you. You don't know what their intentions is, Red. Their intentions may be to end your life that day. Yeah. Hell, you don't know what kind of mess they on. They could be on anything. They could be strung out on something, and they telling them you some kind of demon, and they ready to exterminate. You don't know what's the step. So your best thing to do is what the rule in boxing: protect yourself at all times. And that's what he did. And now they want to tell him he wrong for that. That's why I can't get with that coon of, well, Carmelo should have just fought it. I don't know why he bought out the knife, because the nigga was in fear. Why you think he bought out that knife? These boys got a reputation. Some of them they know martial arts. They bigger than him. They on the football team. They got everybody in town and that school scared of them. Hell yeah. And then they turned their attention to him and decided they're going to put their hands on him when they got no reason to. They not his daddy. They not nobody of authority. Yeah, he defended himself. So to sit up and say that's not self-defense, then what the hell is it when they put their hands on him? It wasn't the other way around. He didn't go looking for them. If he's such a cold-blooded killer like they trying to make him out to be, then why didn't he go looking for them and do something to them? He didn't do nothing to nobody, but he was sitting there minding his own black business.
And then, you know, the crazy part about it, Scoop, they painted the picture. Carmelo was just looking for a fight that day. Oh, yeah, sure. He was looking for a fight. Yeah, he was just looking to pick a fight. Really? You want to convince us that he was looking to pick a fight? And we all know this. Twins fight together. If Austin fights, then Hunter fights. And then not only are they going to fight together, they had their homies with them. So it was Austin, Hunter, and they homies. They all rolled up on him like, hey, what you doing? Like they're going to throw their weight around to punk him and say, man, you're going to get up out of here or else. And when he said no, they was like, oh, okay, you're going to say no? So they tried to flex their muscle. They tried to throw their weight around. It was Austin, Hunter, and they homies that rolled up on Carmelo. I promise you it was.
Oh, yeah, I damn sure believe it. And that's why I believe they was already punching on him. You know what I'm saying? So he did what he felt he had to do at that time. He ain't got no way out. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's looking. I mean, think about it from his perspective. He's sitting down and you got all these bullies hovering over you and they threatening to do something to you. But they turned it around and said Carmelo was threatening them. Look at Carmelo. Lewis, so he threatening all them boys at once. What he gonna do? He gonna threaten all them, but he that big and bad. Y'all, the funny thing is,
they painted it though, Scoop. They said, well, he came up there looking for a fight. Like, really, you really think you're gonna convince us with common sense that Carmelo woke up that day, said, you know what, I'm gonna go up under the tent and I'm gonna pick a fight with these white boys. Come on, it's not even believable.
Yeah, we know better than that. We know we know our people. You see what I'm saying? We know the ones that's gonna be about it, and we know the ones that ain't about it. They just want to get through the day. And Carmelo was one of those ones where it just wanted to get through the day. And they couldn't, they didn't let him. that he was the target. You know what I'm saying? And he said, not today. I'm not going to be a target today. So that's why when I tell people, you know, this, and they say, oh, well, he should have just fought. Do y'all know people die from getting hit? Look what happened to Ann Hefe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
it takes. Somebody hit you the right way, Red. You drop, you don't wake up no more. Don't
Yeah.
think hands is just, you know, ensuring you that you're gonna walk away. You don't know what this dude gonna do, where he gonna hit you at, how hard he gonna hit you. You really gonna stand there and do all that and take your test, especially when it's 4 of them? They jump on you, get they swinging on you, hitting on you, kicking on you, stomping on you, and that's the route you think you should take because you think you got something to prove to everybody. Damn, approve. I'm trying to make it on, and I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make sure I make it on.
Yeah.
Y'all the ones
Hey,
approached me and came to me. If you don't want that issue, Red, then leave me the hell alone.
man. Hey, that's a fact, Scoop. Big E, let's bring up Big E, man. What's your thoughts on this, Big E? They said no. Appeal denied. You got it, Big E.
What up, Red?
You got it, brother.
What it do, Red? What up, Scoop? What up, Chad?
Salute, Big E.
Okay, y'all got to kind of look at it like this. Y'all got to look at it like this, too. Carmelo, Nolan, these wasn't no thugs. These was dudes that was good students, football players, no records, didn't gangbang. Do you understand they are just going after your kids? See, they don't care about the degenerate Negroes. You get what I'm saying? They want that out of us because, see, they can capitalize on that. You see what I'm saying? But Carmelo was on the football team. Nolan was on the football team. These dudes didn't have no kind of records or nothing. Don't y'all see that they're just going after your kids? See, a lot of this is beyond politics. This is stuff that was already written. See, the way I'm looking at it, their birth numbers, y'all do know that their birth numbers is about dead, right? More of them are dying than are being born. Why do you think they keep going after your birth numbers? You see, this past election, what was the Democrats running hard on? Abortion, bro. You get what I'm saying? They telling you to murk your future, and they want everybody else to come over here and have anchor babies in your place. You get what I'm saying? See, to me, they know they going extinct. Even Biden even said by 2040 or 2050, they're going to be the minority in this country. You don't think them white people is paying attention to that? You think they want your numbers to be greater than theirs? You see what I'm saying? So they're going after the good kids. They're going after the kids that you wouldn't expect them to be doing. Y'all got to understand, these are the people, the same people that attacked Ruby Bridges. That was a 6-year-old girl. Okay, y'all got to remember that John F. Kennedy had to send the military to Mississippi to get them white boys to calm down because they was tearing up the town because a black child was going to go to school with them. See, all of this is in the past. Just look at the past, you'll see why we where we are today. Y'all saw what they did to Emmett Till. They made up a whole lot so they could lynch a 14-year-old boy. See, we, black people, I got to get on us. We lost sight of the enemy. Yeah, we get all these tethers and all that. But for the last 400 years, it wasn't no tethers. It was specifically one enemy. And we lost sight of that now. We forget that they used to hang us and put the pictures on postcards and send them around the country. We forgot these are the people that used to give our babies to alligators. You forgot these are the people that used to tar and feather you and split you apart with horses. They just drug a black man like in the 90s. They drug him till it wasn't nothing left but his head. Y'all seeing these hangings, all of these hangings that's been happening over the last month, and we ain't raising enough hell. Y'all don't think a lot of this is on us? Y'all don't see this? We lost sight of the enemy. The people before us knew who the enemy was, and they was together. Black men and black women type circles. Now we invite anybody to the goddamn cookout, not understanding what their intentions are. They don't want to see you win. They want to see us in turmoil. You understand? Y'all forgot the riverboat brawl. You remember that was a black man just out there doing his job. What did they do? Jumped him. If it wasn't for all them other black people, that man messed around and would have got drowned. He was on the pier. He was at the water. It was a bunch of them. Y'all don't think they would have drowned him?
Man, good point.
So we've been dropping the goddamn ball. You know what I'm saying? We the one, we let the offspring of hood wearing, cross burning, murkers, ARPists, and pedophiles, we let them tell us what time it is. How are they dictating to us? They think they are the moral authority. And look at their history. Our parents didn't have a history of what they have. When people look down on us. How the hell that look? Oh, well, black parents. Look, Carmelo's parents. Well, did Carmelo's parents hang anybody white? Did they do any of that stuff? Do we have any of that stuff in our history the way that they do? But for some reason, we let those people feel like they can stand in judgment of us. We don't be at these court. You see what fake Lang is doing? We need to be at all these courthouses like that. You remember in Malcolm X, you remember when they arrested them black people and Malcolm had a whole street full of brothers like, no, y'all gonna let him out or it's up. We let them calm us down too much. It used to be a Watts riot. It was a riot behind Rodney King. It's been several uprisings. But we're not mad enough at what they do to us until it happens to one of us specifically. So we be dropping the ball on this shit. And the kids is who's paying the price. Y'all already know them cowards ain't finna go to no grown man, especially if he got, some street sense about him. Y'all already know they go after soft targets. Why do you think they go to stores and churches and elementary schools and colleges? They're going to where there's nobody armed, nobody's thinking militant, nothing like that. A woman with her kids is just trying to get her stuff and get home. But see, that white man is looking at them as ops. And guess what? They getting away with it because we too busy fighting with black women. We too busy telling them single women that we don't care about their goddamn kids. So what you think you doing? All you doing is making them easier targets. And can't nobody say I'm lying, because how many videos have we seen niggas saying they ain't finna help take care of no kids, they ain't finna do this? This is beyond all of that. See what I'm saying? Look at how they do. They get a white woman get to call a black child an N-word, and she's a millionaire. Daniel Penny gets to put one life, he's a millionaire. The Metcalfs are probably millionaires now. You understand? Do y'all not see the play? But we don't be raising enough hell about that because we too divided. That's why they keep, to me, that's why they want this diaspora. No, we need to keep them niggas divided. That way we can keep capitalizing off of black dysfunction. We can keep unaliving their kids. You keep trusting them, bro. I seen the video where it's like, man, it was his brothers. He was sitting amongst 4 or 5 white boys. A black man walked up to him like, bro, you all right? You got your phone? You good? See, they lulled us to sleep because niggas is too busy paper chasing and doing everything else except paying attention to what's actually happening. The history shows it. The history proves these people ain't gonna change. Oh, well, ever since Donald Trump, ain't got nothing to do with Trump. They never been held accountable no matter who is in office. When Obama was in office, it was like, bruh, we stayed in the crosshairs. Like, what are we doing here? Bro, our ancestors is looking at us and is rolling over in their grave. We think these peoples is cool. You know what I'm saying? This is on us, bruh. You know, when it comes to black people, I was talking to my boy the other day. And if somebody say F your hood, y'all ready to go shoot up that whole neighborhood.
Yeah, man.
But then when it comes to these white boys, now you want to have protest signs. Nigga, wear that same energy. I mean, it's not that I'm condoning it, but we saw y'all run Mo 3 down on the freeway. We saw you put Julio Fulio in the crosshairs like he was a president. We saw what you did to LPG Duck. You understand? We seen this. Where's that energy when stuff like this happen to Nolan? Where's that energy when it comes from everybody else? You only got that energy when it comes to black people. And them is facts. Tell me I'm lying. Yeah, you got the onesie-twosie incidents or whatever, but for the most part, our energy remains, you know what I'm saying? Our energy remains like we look at each other like ops. And it's like, bro, their plan, they told you long. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing told you a lot of this long time ago. But see, you too busy bag chasing and red pilling and manosphering that you lost sight of the actual history of this country. And now you got the people who done enslaved you and did everything you can do to a person. Now those people are saying you are the vile, violent ones, and they are the victims.
Yeah.
Ain't this about nothing? Where's all them politicians that went to El Salvador? Where's all them politicians that was backing up that dude that murked Laken Riley? Where's all them at? You ain't heard them come out and said nothing about that strange fruit that's been swinging. You ain't heard them come say nothing about Carmelo getting railroaded. You ain't heard them say nothing about Nolan. Tell me I'm lying. A lot of this is on us, bruh. I swear these videos, Red, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. These videos be pissing me off, bro. Because it seems like, just like I said, our energy is misplaced. It don't seem like our energy is where it needs to be to get shit done. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just don't seem like it is, in my opinion, bruh. We got too much smoke for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, all we do is criticize each other, and we ready to go there with each other. And me and Red, do you remember some years back? This might have been in the late 80s. When the KKK sent out all them flyers to all the gangbanging neighborhoods and was like, yeah, man, you know what? Thank you, niggas. You doing our job for us.
Yeah,
y'all making our job way easier. This was in the 80s. They was sending out flyers saying, yeah, we want to thank you niggas, you Negroes, for killing each other. We ain't got to waste our time. We could just sit back and watch the show. And guess what we did? We kept doing it.
Kept doing it.
Tell me I'm lying, Red. You know I'm telling the truth.
I mean,
I'm telling the truth.
Hey, you would think that we would have seen that like, hold on, man. We gonna have to fall back. Because if they saying this and we know they feel that way, we need to fall back. But instead of doing that, like you said, we kept doing it.
Bro, okay, so Red, you did a show a while back. And you remember I said, Red, excuse me, y'all, that pineapple clip. I said, all of these kids, they're going to grow up to be black men or black men and women. You can't call them coons and sellouts when we didn't want to put nothing into them because we was too busy red pilling. You get what I'm saying? So no wonder they're gonna be mad when they get older. They're gonna be like, man, F them niggas. You know what I'm saying? All you did was talk about their mama and didn't want to have nothing to do with them. Them is your soldiers for tomorrow. See, everybody, if you notice, every other group.
I want you to cook, bro, but I want to say this. I want to add this. I don't think that black men should step up to play stepdaddy to these women children because it's only going to tell them they can be promiscuous. But we still need to, I don't mind providing mentorship and guidance for these children who need help. So I think we do need to be involved when it comes to giving them guidance. It's the mother's job to find a husband before she lay down and have them kids. But I believe that as grown men, when I see young soldiers that's out there lost, I try to provide some vision. I try to lace them with some game. So I agree with you. We can't just throw them to the wayside. We ain't got to play stepdaddy to give them guidance. But go ahead, Biggie, you got it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I ain't saying be they daddy, but look at everything you see. Oh, screw that woman and her kids. I even be seeing videos of like, say, like, you know, somebody got a child by a woman that got multiple kids. He only bring his kid something to eat. Now, I get what he's saying. I ain't saying he's obligated, but guess what? I'm going to buy all them kids something to eat because I don't need his siblings wanting to jump on him. Just because their daddies ain't nothing, but they see my son eating good, you're sowing dissension between the siblings now. Like, come on, dude, if we all hungry and I'm watching you eat, bro, I'm gonna kick your ass for your food, or it's finna be up behind your food. So I personally would have bought all of them something.
Hey, bro, I did a show on that, Biggie, but the solution is, this is the solution. I say this to my brothers: don't plant your seed in a woman that already got kids by different men. It's only going to create problems. If you're going to be productive, unless you're going to take on a role of providing for kids that ain't yours, your kid looking fresh and the other kids looking bummy, the solution is don't plant your seed in a woman that got kids by different men. If you're going to do that, you might as well have kid with a woman that ain't got nobody kids but yours. That ain't going to do nothing but cause problems. Your kid fresh and eating good, and then the other kids are dirty because their daddies ain't ish. But guess what? The woman has to look at herself. It was her job to pick her husband before she had those children. So the solution is this, brothers: don't plant your seed in a woman that got kids by other men. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And you're right, Red, but guess what? The world that we live in, the way the world's supposed to be, and the world that we actually live in is two different worlds. So they're going to do that. You get what I'm saying? Like it done already happened too many times over to overlook it. You get what I'm saying? So that's just become part of our culture for some reason. But what I'm saying is, if those is your brother if those is your sons or your daughter's siblings, don't be the reason that they hate their sibling. Even because they're too young to understand, like, well, why I ain't getting that? All they know is you got and I don't. So they're going to grow up with hatred. Kids don't understand on adult level. That's why you the parent. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying I wouldn't dog them out like that because I wouldn't want them kids to grow up thinking that I'm messed up towards them. You know what I'm saying? That's just not in my heart, bro. If I'm going to get my son something to eat and there's other kids around, dude, I'm gonna get a bucket of chicken. I'm gonna go get a couple of pizzas. I'm gonna go do everything where everybody can at least eat too. You get what I'm saying? That all these cats be talking about all this money they got. So you mean to tell me you couldn't go get you 2 or 3 extra large pizzas and a couple of 2 liters for them kids?
Hey, bro, I agree with you, man. Like I fed kids too, but the thing about it is, the solution is this, brothers. There's plenty of women out there with no kids, man. Don't play. The solution is this: if you don't want to feel like,
no, you're right. I'm not talking red.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it back to you because you cooking. But what I'm saying is this, brothers: there's too many women out there who don't have kids. Why plant your seed in a woman who already got baby daddies? Don't do it. Don't do it, brothers.
And Red is right. I'm co-signing what Red said, but my message is more or less to the brothers that then already did it. It's a whole lot of them. You get what I'm saying? Them situations is already out there.
I'm trying to decrease that. I'm trying to decrease that population. Now, for the brothers who's already in that situation, all they can do is damage. All they can do is damage control. But to you brothers who ain't got no kids, it's all about prevention. Don't plant your seeds in a woman that already got kids by other men. That ain't gonna do nothing but cause problems. Your kid fresh and eating good, and the other kids ain't. They're gonna hate your son or daughter because they got things, and you a daddy, and they daddy ain't nothing. So don't even put yourself in that situation because we already see the outcome. But go ahead, Biggie. I feel what you're saying, though, brother.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm just saying that's because you got to understand them kids is going to grow up to be men and women. You know, give them some kind of morals, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what, this dude be tripping. He ain't got no daddy. His daddy ain't around. His mama be tripping, whatever. But I'm not going to starve no kid. You understand what I'm saying? All that other stuff, Christmas and all. I mean, I don't do all that anyway, but I'm just saying certain things I get. But there is certain things that we can do as men to make the situation easier for them kids. Because guess what? Them little hard-head YNs, nobody wanted to put nothing behind. Guess what? They're going to grow up to be misdirected, misguided soldiers. You get what I'm saying? So guess who all that energy is going to be turned to? All that energy is going to be turned in our community.
Yeah, it will, man. And you know, it's like that because
that's the real.
And I say this to you, and we have to hold the women accountable too. Now, ladies, it ain't a man's fault if he don't want to feed the kids that's yours that ain't his. So what you need to do is before you give your body up, you need to find a husband. It's your job as a woman to find a husband. Nobody wants to be the second and third and fourth baby daddy. That is grimy. That is raggedy. And men, like I said, to avoid the problem, think about prevention. If the woman already has baby daddies, I'll say it again, do not plant your seed in a woman that already has baby daddies. That ain't nothing but problems that's waiting to happen, my brothers. But yes, if I see a kid, I might listen to what I'm saying. I might not want to do it all the time because I've helped my homegirl. I got homegirls with kids that's struggling and they got baby daddies, and I might come over and I buy 2 pieces to feed the kids, and they ain't mine, but I'm just doing it because I got love for her and I got love for the little ones. But I wouldn't want to feel obligated to do it all the time. So with that being said, this is why I never planted my seed in a woman that already had baby daddy. So I do my best to not be in that situation in the first place. And ladies, it is your job to find a damn husband. You know what I mean? It shouldn't have to take you to get 2 or 3 baby daddies before you find a man that's worth the damn. It is your job as a woman to find a husband. That's all I'm saying to you ladies.
Yeah, ladies, you can't be hollering you strong and independent. You can't be kids. Now that's another conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I be hearing y'all leveling up. Y'all be saying y'all leveling up and this, that, and the third, but you can't even feed the damn kids. Like, be quiet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all need to humble ourselves. But, you know, if it's a young brother doing this thing, he ain't got no kids. I mean, hell, he like Burger King. He could have it his way. He ain't got no kids. He's doing his thing. But to you fellas that do have kids, with women who got other kids, dude, don't be like that. Don't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Because those grown, once we old and can't move like this no more, they gonna be up at bat. And then you can't be like, man, look at that nigga coon. He did no. You want to put nothing into him. I ain't saying be they dad, but you don't want to mentor him. You don't even want to buy the nigga a little Happy Meal. I mean, damn, you didn't even want to get him a slice of pizza.
Yeah,
you know
we
what I'm
still
saying?
gotta show love.
So,
we still gotta show love. I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Show love, man.
So when he grow up and he becomes Officer Tap Dance, or he become one of the Tap Dance twins, you know what I'm saying? Or his name is Chris Bay. Man, that we didn't do nothing with him. And worst case scenario, the vanilla wafer see him. Ain't no man in their life. They mama messed up. Guess what? Easy target. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, bro, that's called sacrificing, bro. Some of us gonna have to sacrifice some shit, some things to right the ship. Like, I mean, bro, it has to be. It has to be. We can't keep going down like this. We can't keep taking these kind of L's, bro, and it not be no change. You see, they are actively going after kids. You remember after they did what they did to Charlie Kirk, you remember all of a sudden all of these saltwater people started going to the HBCU college. They wasn't going nowhere else. Even though Kirk got murdered at Utah, after he met his demise, now all of a sudden the Charlie Kirk wannabes is at Tennessee State and Alcorn State. Why are you going to the black colleges? Y'all don't see this, huh? So all I'm saying is, bro, you don't let your soldiers run amok or run astray. You see in China, they don't let that happen. They still bring theirs under their wings. They be training them militarily. They be 5, 6, 7, know how to shoot an AK, they know how to gut you already. But over here, the kids know how to twerk. They know that spin that song. They know who Dirty Red and Dookie Hanna is. You understand? But they don't know they don't know Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, no.
Right,
they don't know nobody like that. You see what I'm saying? But they know Ice Spice and all. They know all that. They know all these trashy, dirty lyrics. You see what I'm saying? They know all that. They know how to twerk already. I seen several videos where they show these little preschool girls up against the wall twerking. They're already twerking. These girls ain't even 6 years old. They twerking already.
Yeah, got Sexy Red playing in the background. I seen it. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
You understand what I'm saying? This is what we doing with our kids. That's what we doing with our kids. That's what look at they kids and look at everybody else. I don't care who they are.
Yeah, man. Music influences culture. Hey, Biggie, I said this a long time ago. Music influences culture. So we got to be careful of what we let our children listen to. But the sad part about it is when they go outside, they still have access to the things that we may deny in our households. So it's our job as a culture to promote more positive things because unfortunately, music influences culture. So if they're listening to Sexy Red and Suki Hanum, they're gonna be twerking at 6 years old.
I mean, you get what I'm saying? But we think that this stuff is cool, and they got the wrong type of people co-signing this. The people with the biggest platforms and the biggest mouths don't see nothing wrong with it. Like take that, spin that song. They showed Lisa Ray twerking and dancing to it. Then just a few days ago, I seen her make a video. Oh no, I don't know. She said that. Oh, I don't condone that. Shut up, because that's what she was. Said, nah, that's not cool. And Macy Gray has always been cool, made respectful music. He started disrespecting Macy Gray. Yeah. It's like, okay, Trick Daddy, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Every time somebody tries to correct the wrongs, right? We got too many people that's getting ready to come up and say something against that. Red, you gotta understand, we're living in the time to where people think that having a job is lame now. You know what I'm saying? They think you got a regular 9 to 5. It'd
be the women promote. It's like I say, Biggie, that's feminism. It's the women who want men to be their muse. It's the women that's making it seem like this is lame. You ain't making enough money to date me. You ain't making enough money. So with that being said, when men get their stuff together, they say the hell with you and your kids. So you ladies are playing a major role in why a lot of these men are taking a damn dump on you nowadays, because with all of a sudden Cheesecake Factory ain't good enough. Cheesecake Factory is a good restaurant. You got bras out here. Like, hold on, you a struggling single mom that can barely pay your bills, and me taking you to Cheesecake Factory ain't good enough. So these women with this feminist mindset, they have contributed to why a lot of these men really don't want nothing to do with them. So, ladies, I'm giving you some advice. I'm trying to lace your boots with some game. You being superficial and promiscuous, saying that a man got to do all this for you and he don't even know you. You're the reason why a lot of these men don't want nothing to do with you or your damn kids. You guys play a major role in why this is happening. I'm just trying to hold my sisters accountable. I got love for you, and this is why I'm telling you guys the truth.
Yeah, and I'm a piggyback Red a little. Y'all know my sisters. Y'all know I love y'all, and I don't go in on y'all. But some of y'all, a lot of y'all today is about as sharp as a marble, okay? Let's say if you are a single mother, and let's just say if your monthly expenses, let's just say it's $3,000. Just say it's $3,000. So if you meet a man that's willing to take half of that off of you to where now you have lost, especially you have lost your mind. Okay, that is a man you can build. He works hard for his money too. He got bills too. But if he's willing to help you with half your expenses, how is that not a blessing for you? Oh, he can't do it all. Okay, well, see, that's why you pay it all by yourself, and we listening to you complain.
Exactly.
Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We are trying to make it as best as we can. Y'all out here, I ain't saying all, but remember, we seen it. Y'all, a lot of y'all out here sleeping in U-Haul trucks, sleeping in your cars, and y'all, I ain't good enough. Yeah, it need to be good enough. You know what I'm saying? And stop listening to everybody else's life. Your life is yours. Your experiences are yours. I wasn't born with no silver spoon in my mouth. So I'm not fan. I've been through the mud and back. Then rose, fell, rose again, fell again, rose again. You never stop getting up, bruh. It never stops. You got a Red. Do you stay grinding, Red? You got to stay grinding, don't you?
Yep, got to stay grinding, man.
You done took your L's and you done rebounded from that. Bruh, that's life. So, ladies, that's just what that win. It ain't like the dollar don't go as far as it used to go. I remember a time when gas was under $2. Y'all will never see that in your lifetime.
Never again, man.
You know what I'm saying? The dollar went a lot further back then.
A double cheeseburger
Today,
was
it ain't like that.
A double cheeseburger was only $1. Shit.
Bruh, you get what I'm saying? So you can take $20, fill up your gas tank, and get something to eat, nigga.
And get something to eat. And get something to eat, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Now the burger itself is $20. We ain't talking about no fries and no drink.
Yeah.
Go to the Marathon Burger and just get a cheeseburger or a double cheeseburger at Marathon of cost. Just the burger. Go to Five Guys and get just a burger and see how much that Five Guys burgers is going to cost you.
Yeah, it's crazy out here, man. They don't
Bro,
know.
me and my girl went to Five Guys, bro. You're gonna spend about $55 on 2 burgers, 2 fries, and 2 drinks. Real talk at Five Guys.
Just imagine if you dealing with a broad that got kids and you got to feed her and the kids. This is why, and I'm telling you, ladies, I'm not bashing y'all. I'm just trying to give you some game. Now we're talking about how expensive food is. Do you really think a man want to feed you and his kids? If you got 2 kids, 3 kids, if he got to feed you, him, and your kids, he gonna spend $100 at McDonald's. So the thing about it is this, ladies, if you're not married, if you don't have something established with this man, you ain't got no damn business having kids because you're introducing your children to struggle land. Be responsible with your body, ladies. Don't nobody want to take care of kids that ain't theirs. Man, you got dudes that don't even want to take care of their own kids. So you know they're not going to take care of kids that ain't theirs It is very expensive. It is very expensive to feed yourself, let alone children.
And then look, Red, you don't even want to compromise. So if the man get the money and he go buy the food, you don't even want to cook it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he went and got it, I'll buy, you fly.
Yeah.
You not even down for that. And Red, look, I just seen a video today that it was these white people were saying that when they see black people coming to their restaurants, they all huddle up in the back and go spit in your food, bro. I seen the video today. You know what I'm saying? So why wouldn't you want to get in there and cook your own food? It's better for you. It's more healthy. It goes a long way, and it help you out. Eating out or
Yeah. But
if you
hey,
eat
Biggie,
out
I'm gonna say this,
just
Biggie.
3
This is the
times
thing.
a
Yeah, just
week, you spending about two.
yeah, you spending a lot of money, and I'm gonna say this, man. The cost of living is higher, food costs more, and the women out here, they're asking for more. So you like, I gotta pay more for food, more for gas, more for rent. Then I got an ungrateful woman who said that Cheesecake Factory ain't good enough. The hell with these bras. You wonder why so many brothers saying, I'm gonna go overseas and get women that'll appreciate just basic things. Plus, my money will go a whole lot further. My money goes further. I'll save money in the long run. You got women who don't give a damn about what you got to go through to make a dollar. Everything costs more money, and these women don't appreciate it. I'm not saying all women are like that, because I met some good sisters, but I want you ladies to know there's a whole lot of women who feel like this ain't good enough, this ain't good enough. The cost of living is high, and these women yet and still they want you to do more. They can't even afford these things for themselves, but they expect for you to provide it. That's crazy.
That is an absolute fact. That's all facts. And then when you do have these kids, now you live in the same zip code as I do, but you want your kids to go to the Saint Best Ever Academy. Now all of a sudden you want him to start playing rugby and crickets and oh well, he's in a book club. Now all of a sudden shit you ain't never did and you can't afford. Now all of a sudden you want this for your kids, but you can't pay for it. But you demand a man make enough money to where you don't have to pay no bills, take care of your kids as well as his own stuff, and you do nothing. You are insane and you belong in Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
All of yous that think like that.
Yeah. Hey,
But
Biggie,
look,
and
Red, I'm gonna go ahead and jam no Red, cause it's bro. I'm finna go hit the gym, bro. This be firing me up, man. I be having to go let that energy off.
yeah, bro.
But I'm
Hey,
be vigilant. Stop losing sight of who the enemy has always been. All he did was turn everybody else against you because they sound like him. Every group used their talking points. So that should tell you that right there. You know what I'm saying? But never lose sight of who the enemy has always been. Your ancestors can tell you better than anything. You look back in the past, you'll figure it out. We talking about from buck breaking to this, that, and the third. Those people raised the people that you seen today. They had their kids present when they were committing a lot of those atrocities. So what do you think their mind is? Their mind is warped and twisted. I guarantee you they have black souvenirs in their house right now. I bet you. So stay vigilant. You know what I'm saying? Stay vigilant more than ever. Drink your water, eat your veggies, and keep winning.
yeah, man. Shout out to Big E, man. And I know they're gonna say, well, how do you guys get to relationships? Because we're speaking about issues that affects us, right? So sometimes we got to speak on feminism. We got to speak on the black men that were gangbanging, that were unaliving each other. We got to speak on all of these things that affect us in a negative way. We got to bring it up. We can't afford to ignore it. We just can't afford to ignore that. Times are too hard for you to be dealing with a woman who's superficial and she's coming to the table with another man's children. It's just not worth it, my brothers. And I'm trying to put you ladies up on game so that you don't end up in a situation to where you feel like you deserve more, but you don't have that type of value on the dating market, right? And the thing about it is this: men are not going to be quick to feed your kids because we know what it is with a lot of these ladies. Social media has destroyed a whole lot. It's a gift and a curse. Social media is a gift, but it's also a curse at the same time. Now, let me say this. Nobody is going to be obligated to clean up something, to fix a problem that they didn't make. So with that being said, ladies, it's your job to find a husband before you have these children. Serious business. And the thing about it is this: not everybody gives a damn about this FBA stuff. You know, you got some people that look at it like black is black. If I can't find a foundational black American woman that's suitable, I'll go overseas to get it. Everybody don't feel like they need to be loyal to no FBA lineage. Some of us do, but a lot of us don't. A lot of brothers feel like I'll get, as long as a woman respects me and get on my program, that's what I'm dealing with. I don't want to get a woman and rock with her just because she's FBA and she's arguing, she's talking back, she's combative, and she's bringing kids that ain't mine. A lot of brothers just don't want to deal with that no more. And I've been trying to put my sisters up on game for a long time. If you don't take heed to this information that I'm giving you, you're going to be a struggling single mom in your late 30s with no husband, wondering why you can't get a damn man, wondering why men don't want to take you serious outside of the bedroom. I'm talking about prevention. Same thing with you brothers. A lot of these women got kids with men that are raggedy. They don't help them. They don't provide nothing. Why plant your seed in a woman that's already struggling as a single mom? Your kid got everything that they need. Her other kids ain't got nothing because the baby daddies are bums. And a lot of brothers don't feel obligated to spend their money on kids that ain't theirs. It's hard enough to provide for the kid that you got. So this is why I say prevention. Don't plant your seed in a woman that already got baby daddies. It's going to be a terrible situation. A lot of their baby daddies are bums. And if the baby daddies are bums, the children are going to struggle as a result of her not picking a good man. So in order to avoid all of that, my brothers, don't plant your seed in these women that already got baby daddies. That would be one of the worst decisions that you ever made. You know, you got to buy your kids something, and every time you buy your kids something, you got to buy them something. Everybody ain't got the money to do that. So in order to avoid all of that, let's think about the simple solution. Let's think about prevention. Do not plant your seed in a woman that already has baby daddies. It ain't your fault that she didn't pick a husband before she had kids. That ain't your fault. It ain't your job to play the cleanup man. I'm not saying that we can't mentor children and show love to them. Of course we can. But in 2026, men with common sense just don't want to be stepdaddies no more. It costs too much money to feed kids, especially kids that ain't yours. It costs too much money to be a damn stepdaddy, man. It's hard enough taking care of the kids that you got. It's hard enough taking care of your own damn kids. I'll put it like that. Now let's get back to this Carmelo Anthony situation. We already knew that brother Carmelo was not going to get a fair trial. You're in the state of Texas. You're in Collin County. You're not going to get a fair shake. You're not going to get a fair trial. Everybody's against you. You got to know that as a black man. You got to know that as a black woman moving forward. The name of the game is prevention, not damage control. I'll say it again. The name of the game is prevention, not damage control. You dig what I'm saying? A woman that's struggling with kids and she's damn near 40, or maybe she is 40 and up, and she's a single mom and she's struggling with kids, that's damage control. Now she got to pick up the pieces to try to make a situation work. She got to pick up the pieces to make a situation work. A situation is already broken. Now she got to do the best that she can to make it work. That's damage control. Ladies, I'm trying to give you game. If you're not in a relationship with a man to where you guys have something established, don't just be reckless. Don't be out here just having babies recklessly. Be more responsible with your body. Brothers, don't plant your seed in a woman that already has baby daddies. That'll be one of the worst decisions you ever made. Don't do it. So the name of the game is this, family: prevention, not damage control. I'm going to get up out of here, man. Peace, love, and blessings. It's your player partner, King Supreme. Make sure that you guys like the stream. He said, I ain't taking care of nobody's kids that ain't mine. I ain't mad at you, brother. He said, I ain't taking care of nobody's kids. listen, homie. It's hard enough raising your own damn kids. It costs too much money to buy food. It costs a lot of money to buy gas. So with that being said, why do you want to spend money raising somebody else's kids? Why do you want to spend your hard-earned money feeding somebody else's kids? That ain't your responsibility. Her children is another man's responsibility at the end of the day. Now, as black men, I'm not saying that we can't provide mentorship for the children that need guidance. I'm not saying that we can't do that. But being a stepdaddy in 2026 is out. Those days are played out. Those days are long gone. I'm going to say it again. Playing stepdaddy in 2026 is a bad idea. It costs way too much money to feed kids. It costs way too much money to house them. Being a stepdaddy in 2026 is a bad idea. That's out. Hit the like button if you haven't already. King Supreme is coming with the game. Oh, so heavy. I'm going to get up out of here, you guys. Hit the like button. It ain't nothing. If you haven't hit that like button, man, you committing a damn crime. You committing a damn crime if you ain't blessed that damn like button, man. It's your player partner, King Supreme. I'm gone. Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm out.